Welcome back to Unlocking Our Code podcast. In part 1, we heard the powerful story of survival, my sister's journey through years of abuse, violence, and trauma. Today, in part 2, we talk about what happens after surviving. What does the journey of healing look like when the war inside your own home finally ends? How do you face the anger, the grief, the fear, and the unknown? And most importantly, how do you begin to move forward? And today I'm here with Lou, and welcome back, Coco.
Thank you for having me in this wonderful podcast. I'm so happy to be here and to talk about domestic violence awareness. This is episode 2.
Yes. How do you guys feel after that? Episode 1, right?
Yeah, episode 1 was intense. I felt that in my bones. I can only imagine. And like I told you the last time, I'm so proud of you, Coco. So proud.
Thank you.
You are truly an inspiration. And thank you so much for sharing, for being open, for being vulnerable, for allowing our listeners to share your story. And not a lot of people can do that. It takes guts. It takes a lot of bravery. And so thank you very much.
No, thank you for having me here. Yeah, definitely episode 1 was very tough for me to speak about. It's never going to be nothing easy to talk about, especially when you experience a lot of pain, a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
From the person you thought it was your forever.
Yep.
The person that you loved a lot at one point. But I am very happy to be here as a survivor, because that's who I am. I am a survivor. I'm not a victim. And I am here to share my story. So men and women who go through domestic violence seek for help and be brave and get up from wherever they're at and do the right thing to us. So for them to let go, to let them know that there's a Spanish saying. I'm going to say it in English and in Spanish. Hay un dicho en español que dice, el valiente vive hasta que el cobarde quiere. And it's very true. So that in English means the brave will live only till the weak allows it. And with that said, I am here. I'm happy to be here. I am in a better stage. I'm here for good.
Yes.
I feel the power within me. And I'm talking about my soul, my spirit. I am brave. I love myself. And I just want to let the people out there know. This is why I'm here. This is the purpose why I did this podcast. There is another tomorrow. And if you see or if you think it's dark out there or cloudy, there is a tomorrow. The sun's going to come out tomorrow. Or sooner or later, it's going to come out.
For sure. It's like there's that, like the episodes that we did about new beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
about letting go of the hard things, even if they're painful, about grieving the things that we've lost, even if they were painful. And knowing that there's a new story, a new beginning, a new journey for you. It's your whole new life. Now you're going to get to know yourself. Who is Coco? Who was she? You know, who is the person that she was meant to be? Now you can see that. Now you're going to find that out. Now you're going to be able to heal. Now you're going to be able to do all the things that you couldn't do for yourself. And as painful as that ending was, as painful as all of it is, and you're going to grieve through it. I mean, I don't think that ends. That grieving doesn't end. Like, you're going to have moments in life where you're probably going to grieve more than other days. And you're going to grieve that life that you had prior to now. But it's okay. You know, that was your life. That was a part of who you were. It's okay to grieve those. But now we get to talk about the other side of the story. What is like the new you, you know? Like, who is she now? What does it feel like now to have that sort of freedom, I guess, if you want to call it?
Yeah, yep.
The new me?
Yeah.
I'm a dragon.
I love that.
I'm Earth. That's who I am. I'm a warrior. And I have a good heart. I have a good heart for everyone in general. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you have. Because what makes us is our heart. Don't ever describe yourself as, oh, I have a house, I have a car, I have a lot of money in my bank. That's not who you are. Who you are is what you got inside, in your heart. What you give others. That's who you are. I will never, ever sit here and want to be like the person or the people, because it was multiple people, not only my ex-husband. A lot of people, including his family, hurted me, but I will never sit here. And I always told God and myself, don't let me be like them. I don't want to be like them. I am not like them. I am better. I don't want to be or have a black heart.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you feel like I feel like it's okay to feel that immediately right after something so intense. I feel that is part of being human, to have those emotions, to feel like I hate him and I want the worst for him, and those who are aiding him and those who are supporting him and those who are giving him the benefit of the doubt, like, I hate you too and I want the worst for you too. Is that something that you can honestly say that you went through?
And it's okay to think like that. And we will think like that because we are human.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's part of the process.
Of course. I thought about everything in general. You name it.
Yeah.
Revenge.
Yes.
That's the number one thing that came across my head. But there was no limit when I thought about revenge. And I thought about it multiple times. But in my head, there was no limit to revenge. I have a good heart and I am a good human. But I'm human. I have feelings. And when you've crossed the line of disrespect towards me, there's also that bad side.
What do you feel were like your immediate emotions when right after, the break, right after this all unfolded? What were your primary emotions that you felt at the beginning?
Yeah, especially like after talking about in the last episode, what you said, it felt like the blindfold came off. And when the blindfold comes off,
Oof.
it's when the blindfold comes off, it's almost like you see that person for who they are, and you're just like, oh, the anger.
Yeah.
The anger that comes out, because like you said right now, the disrespect, right? You disrespected me and my children up to this point, but it's like you lived 20 years of it, at the end, when the blindfold comes off and you finally see what it was, like Divi says, what were those emotions that you felt?
Would just picture it as it's the Beauty and the Beast. You were living with a monster. You just didn't see his face for a long time. Till you took the mask off.
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine what it looks like, what it feels like. I was shattered into 1,000 pieces. Shattered. I did not. The pain was so much that I was angry. I was bitter. I thought about hurting my own self. I didn't see a purpose to be in this world anymore. I didn't want to be part of this world anymore. I mean, if the person that I believed in, the person that went to a church and in front of God promised me to love me and protect me, betrayed me.
Yeah, this is what I mean by the grief doesn't end.
Yeah.
It really does not end.
It's just giving ourselves permission to feel it when it does come, right? It's not about getting rid of the grief or getting rid of all that we felt at the beginning. It's about learning how to stand with that pain in a stronger way, not in a way where we're no longer, hurting ourselves or hurting those around us because of our own pain. But now it's like, I see my pain, but now I choose to stand next to my pain with honor, with even love, with emotions that at the beginning we couldn't sit with, right? Because at the beginning, I'm sure that it was difficult for you to sit with that pain, to even look at that pain and feel grateful in any way or have any type of positive feelings, right? It's not that our grief will leave. I think grief always lives inside us because it has a purpose. And I truly believe that grief's purpose is to remind us how strong we truly are at our core. Because when we tap into that grief, you also tap into your strength at the same time. It's two different things that you're tapping into this at the same time. And if you can see grief and you can feel it in your bones, you can also feel the strength that runs through you, right? Mm-hmm. That keeps you going even when there's this immense grief present whenever you talk about the subject or whenever you go through it, right?
Yeah, this is the life after This is the life. This is the life after. This is the life after for a survivor, right? It's grieving. It's breaking down. It's celebrating your wins, realizing I am brave. I am strong. I'm getting to know myself. I'm loving myself. I'm valuing myself, like you mentioned in the previous episode. But it does feel like there's still, like DB mentioned, there's still a war now inside of you that you are still trying to battle.
Any person that goes through domestic violence of any kind of way, you have to live your pain. You have to feel your pain. You have to cry. You have to yell. You have to live your pain.
Can you bypass it? Do you think that when you bypass that pain, right? Can you do that? Does that support you? If you are someone that went through something abusive like that and you bypass that part, can healing come if you're bypassing the feeling?
Healing will come within time. Once you already dealt with the pain, you will heal slowly.
But is it a step that they must take to feel?
You have to grieve. You have to live the pain. There's no other way around it.
You can't just bury it.
You cannot
ignore it.
You cannot. You have to live the pain. You have to cry it out. You have to yell. It's part of the healing. You will not jump the letters of the alphabet like that. You can't go from A to Z just like that. Mm-hmm. You have to mention all the above, A, B, C, D, in order.
What do you think happens to somebody who wants to ignore the pain and wants to act like it didn't happen, or I'm over it, I'm good, it doesn't matter? What do you think happens to someone inside of them? How do they turn out to be?
It will kill you slowly. It will consume you slowly. You have to surrender yourself.
To what? What do you surrender to?
Yourself. You surrender yourself. And you hold on to what actually matters.
Like what?
What gave me the power? And I am saying the power because I had horrible thoughts. I was suicidal. I thought of many ways of taking my life. I didn't know how to deal with my pain. After these type of situations, you're left with, what did I do wrong? It's probably my fault. But if you're not the person, if you're not the aggressor, if you're not the person that hurt it, you're not at fault. You're at fault for staying, for putting excuses. Because I was at fault for staying, for making excuses, for not leaving before, for dragging my children. I am at fault.
How are you dealing with that now, Coco? How are you dealing with those thoughts of when you say you're at fault, you are experiencing guilt. How are you now as a mom,
It's
having to survive that with your children? How are you dealing with the guilt?
It's part of the pain. It's part of the conclusion. You have to be willing to accept the things that you also did wrong. If my ex-husband yelled at me, I would yell at him back. If he put hands on me, I defended myself. That means I put hands on him too. So we're both at fault at one point. And who is looking at the big picture? My children. So it takes two to make it work or to make it fall apart.
And the fact that you're able to see that right there, that awareness that you have, even though you lived horrible things and your story is, it just carries so much. You're still in the middle of that storm, still able to say, like, I had a part in my own suffering, right? Sometimes, a lot of the times, we deny the part that we play in our own suffering, and that creates more pain. More and more pain, right? Like, we continue to live in the cycle. It's not until we say, I had a part in that too. I didn't stop it. It's something that I processed actually not that long ago, getting ready for this podcast. I had to see my own story of, that I lived. And I had to really get really honest with myself and say, I had a part too. I had a part in my daughter's trauma. I didn't stop it when I could, right? Yes, I stopped it in so many ways, but I also played a part. I should have used my voice. So it's recognizing all those things, right? Like saying, yes, this happened, but I also didn't have the strength to stop it. Why didn't I stop it? And asking ourselves those very difficult questions, right? That sometimes, like Lou was saying off the air, it's easier for me to be angry at the other person. It's easier because then I don't have to be angry at me. I don't have to look at if I just focus on what he did to my daughter, then I don't have to look at what I did. I don't have to look at the part that I played in that story, right? And that's where the dysfunction continues, because you just continue to feed the anger. You continue to be angry at everyone else, but you never allow yourself to feel your own anger, your own part, what you played in that story, right?
And in those situations, sometimes not only do you live in that cycle of pain because you never want to look in instead of looking out, but you also sometimes, and a lot of the times, people fall into the same cycle again, where this type of stuff keeps happening to them. They keep falling in the same relationship, in the same situation, in the same jobs, in the same whatever the case might be. They keep falling into the same cycles because they continue to blame everyone around them and not themselves. But never do they ever say, wait a minute, why am I in the same situation again? Yeah. What am I doing? What part am I playing that I keep falling in the same relationship, in the same job, in the same situationship, in the same whatever? Because they don't want to point at themselves. They want to blame the whole world, right? But that awareness that you have now, that you are sitting here with and saying, I have that awareness now. You didn't have that awareness when you were in that when you were in it, living in it for those 20 years. The awareness that you have now, you didn't have that awareness. If you did have that awareness, you would have made that choice a long time ago. And that's where we say you don't do better unless you know better. You didn't know better, okay? Gogo did not know better. Now you do. Now you can go back and you can say, man, I can see all the roles that I played in my life. And instead of saying it's just his fault, you can say, I'm going to take responsibility for my part. And guess what? This shit is not going to happen to you again. It's not going to happen to you again, because now you could see, you have that awareness, right? But I think what I'm trying to get to is the guilt that you're carrying. I'm a master of carrying guilt. That was my downfall. Guilt. I couldn't see. All I felt was guilty for absolutely everything. I had zero compassion for myself. I had zero compassion for myself. It was not until recently that I was able to see myself from the perspective that I'm explaining to you right now, where I'm saying I didn't know better. These things that I was doing or that I did that led me to whatever situations I was in, I did them because at the time it served me. It served me a purpose. Not only that, I didn't know better. If I knew what I know now, trust me, that would not have happened. But all those things led me here. All those things that happened, I don't regret any of them because they led me here. I have some awareness now that, oh my God, now I feel it feels free. I feel free, right? That I can take responsibility for what I do wrong. And I'm not perfect, because I could still see when I do things and I'm just like, okay, it's like, you watch what you said, or look, you shouldn't have done that, right? But now I can say, okay, I'm sorry. I can apologize and in instant right then and there and try to rectify, right? But what I'm trying to tell you is, if you see yourself in those 20 years, in that last 20 years, you need to look at her and tell her you didn't know better. If you knew better, we would have gotten out. But you didn't know better. You had a blindfold on. You said it. So how do you need to remember that and give yourself that compassion and give yourself that grace so that you can start to forgive yourself, and forgiveness comes a lot easier, and then you can move forward a lot faster, right? But you need to keep remembering that so that you don't carry that guilt, because guilt, oh man, guilt is terrible. It's a terrible feeling to live with every day.
But it's also, if you really think about it, guilt is also, it's a terrible emotion to feel as a human. But on the opposite side of the shadow of guilt, it's a reminder of how much you loved.
Yeah.
Right?
I totally believe that.
Every emotion also carries light, right? There's light, there's the shadow.
If you have the awareness of it.
If you have the awareness, yes. But it exists no matter what.
No, I totally believe it now that it does exist.
Yes.
But I feel like you have to have that awareness, because I feel that guilt dragged me into depression because I blamed myself for everything. I could see now when I turn around and I look at it, and I'm like, that's how much I cared. That's my love. That's how much I love, right? Mm-hmm. But if you don't have that awareness, I feel like it could definitely sink somebody, So I think for you to know to explain what you're saying now, like, now that you're saying like, I know what role I played. I did my part too, Yes. Say it because it's part of your story. I think my only advice for you is don't stay in that moment where you say, I played my part and this is why I'm here, and I carry that guilt with me and I carry that regret with me forever. Take it, and as Stevie says, use it as the beauty and how much you care and how much you love, but at the same time, don't forget to forgive yourself for being in that moment.
I walk free. I've learned how to walk free. How to walk without pain. Because from my divorce on, from 2022 to the end of 2024, I was just walking. I don't even think my spirit was in me. That's how dark it was. That's how black it was. I had no feelings.
And this right after?
Right after. The pain, the anger, the bitterness, the darkness. That's what you're left with. You're in a dark hole, a dark circle. You have to walk your pain. You have to feel it. Every inch of it.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to slowly heal and let go. You have to slowly let go. Once you've reached the part where you pray for the person or the people that hurted you the most, you gain peace. And you can say you won the war when you pray for the ones that hurted you, which is what I do now. I don't hate anyone. I don't feel pain. I felt guilt inside of me at one point.
Why do you think you don't feel pain, though?
I don't feel pain because I lived my pain.
Yeah,
I walked my pain.
exactly.
I felt it.
You sat with it.
I sat with it. I empathized with it. I sat down in the middle of sleepless nights and talked to myself and God. And I apologize to my own self for allowing other people to hurt me. For not loving myself, not respecting myself. And I want to tell the world, whoever listens to this, don't ever love another person more than you love yourself. Because that is like you're walking on a path to destruction.
Why? Why do you think that?
Because you will lose your integrity. You will lose yourself in that walkway. You will leave. It's like you're walking a pathway of destruction where you're leaving yourself way behind. Walking with holding on to nothing. You gave it. For example, I gave my ex-husband my everything. It's like I took out my heart and I gave it to him. And I gave it to him in his hand. And I said, do with it whatever you want. And so he did. To the point where he almost took my life. I put myself in that situation. Therefore, the person that I am now, I love myself, I respect myself, I value myself. I am first, even though I have 4 children. After me, because if I'm okay, and if I love myself and I respect myself and I value myself, my children will be okay. Then I can love my kids. If I don't love myself, then I can't love my children.
Yep.
If I don't even love myself, if I don't respect myself,
Yep.
if I don't value myself,
Definitely.
to me, this is who I am now. I am first, then my children, then the people that deserve a place in my life. Not just anybody. My circle is very small.
I love that. Because you definitely can't pour into somebody else's cup if your cup is empty. And another thing that brings me also, and I know that's probably a different episode, which I feel we've talked about before, but maybe we can talk about again, is, when you mention loving someone else more than you love yourself, or don't love someone else more than you love yourself. I think when that happens, what really happens is that you never loved yourself in the first place. That's why you love someone else more than you love yourself. It's when you never got a chance to know yourself, to know who you really are. You never got a chance to actually love yourself in the first place. So you just think that loving someone else means this is what it's supposed to be, But it's when you love yourself first and then you find the other person, you'll never be in that situation. You'll never be in the situation where you love somebody else more than you love yourself, when you love yourself first. Mm-hmm. So I feel at 14 years old, starting a relationship, looking for love, thinking and taking breadcrumbs from someone, you didn't love yourself since the very beginning. But that's just due to age, due to the way you were raised. And I'm not saying anything about you. I feel when you're telling me your story, I really do feel myself in your story, so I can really relate. And I feel like that's what it was. Mm-hmm. I was young. I didn't have any of that connection with my family members. I didn't have love. So I gave my all to somebody else who also did the very same thing to me. And I thought that was love, because I would get little breadcrumbs, and I thought this is what love is supposed to be, because I was young. I was a kid. I didn't even know what was left from right. You know what I mean? So I love that you have gone to know yourself, that you know what you want, that you know who you are, that you value yourself, respect yourself, and yes, you come first. That's definitely for sure. This is how you're processing. How are your children processing what happened or what has been happening?
They're healing slowly with my love.
I love that. Mm-hmm.
With the help of who created us, which is God. They're doing much better, because I'm doing much better.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I can't control other people's actions. I can only control myself. And I can guarantee you one thing. My future is bright, because that's what I'm making. That's what I'm building. That's what I'm choosing. And I'm going to tell, I see a lot of wars out there between humans. The best way to win a war is in silence. Don't feed the monsters. That was my way. And I'm here. And I'm still healing. I don't feel pain anymore. Which I really thank God about that. Because the first thing you have to battle is pain. Because you walk with it. You breathe it every single day. Till you let go.
What would you tell someone that is battling with anger and bitterness, maybe after a divorce, after a bad breakup, after domestic violence itself? What would you tell that person that's stuck there in the anger and the bitterness of that and seems to not find a way out of that? What would you say to that person?
To love themselves.
What does that look like for them?
When you love yourself, you're going to value yourself and you're going to respect yourself. You're going to understand that there's no need and there's no room for you to hold on to negativity that will do no good to you, that will only continue to kill you slowly. And in reality, it's not even worth it.
And what steps can they take to begin releasing? So if this is someone that, if this is someone that doesn't know what steps to take, all they know is the anger, all they know is the bitterness that's there. What steps do they begin taking?
Break the circle. Get up and do things that make you happy. I got out of my circle writing songs, singing songs. It took me to a different completely world. It made me happy. I talked about my emotions. That was one. The second one was exercising, going to the mountains, running. Nature.
Mm. Connecting.
I love being in the mountains. It's like I can live there. That's my spot. I love it when I'm out there.
Yeah, you're connecting with Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's peaceful.
Yes. Not only that, but you are finding yourself. I remember in episode 1 when she said she was 14 years old and she had dreams, she had goals for herself to be either a backup dancer, I think you said, or a singer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And now you are going back to that person, Mm-hmm. You're going back to that again, remembering who you are. Remember who you were meant to be. Those dreams that were in your head were there for a reason. And then making it happen. And that's what's bringing you joy.
Because I lost myself
mm-hmm.
in the journey of being a mother at a very young age. Being a wife at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
So I I let my dreams die. And I'm slowly bringing in who I've always been.
Yeah.
Like you're remembering that part of yourself. You're going back. The inner child that you left abandoned in this process that you went through for 20 years, now you went back for her, right? And that's the beauty of this journey, that yes, you went through so much for 20 years and she was left somewhere behind, right? Somewhere in that journey. But now you have the awareness, the willpower, the strength, the courage to go back and say, I'm back for you. We're going to build our dreams together. Mm-hmm. We're going to heal together. We're going to do what you always wanted to do, right? And that's the beauty of it, right? That when we carry so much pain, is finding an outlet, going back to remember that the things that bring us joy, right? Not long ago, I ran into this, like an acquaintance, and I could see the pain in the mother's eyes. And she's telling me something similar to you, that she feels lost, that she doesn't know who she is through motherhood. And I remember telling her, do something that brings you joy. Because she's like, every day is the same thing. Mothering, cooking, cleaning. Like, I don't even know like who I am anymore in the middle of this. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, just go back, tap into one thing. Whether it's like you said, you started writing, you started singing, you started connecting with Mother Earth and nature. So it's like finding an outlet mm-hmm. that can spark that creativity, that happiness, that joy, whatever it is. It could be the most simple thing, right? That takes us back mm-hmm. to that place. And I also feel that for people that are in this place where they are stuck in bitterness and struggling to get through it, it's like we said off air, right? Don't forget to forgive you. Mm-hmm. Because if you're stuck there, it's because you have not looked at the most important part of this story, you, right? You've blamed the person, you've gone through the motions, all of it. But
still there.
You have forgotten to go mm-hmm. back to you, forgiving the version of you that stayed longer than maybe you should have, or forgiving the version of you that created trauma in your children, not only to the children, but to yourself, to the family, going back and forgiving her. Mm-hmm. That is where the medicine lies when we're sometimes also stuck, right? Mm-hmm. Creating, like my sister said, connecting to that creativity, to that mm-hmm. outlet, to things that make you happy. And don't forget to forgive yourself.
Very important.
Because we get stuck in a fatal pattern, especially us women. Cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids, working, we forget about ourselves. Mm-hmm. A lot of people get into the habit of drinking and doing drugs because they don't find a way out. That's their way out mm-hmm. of the bad circle.
Yep.
That is the main reason why you have to be brave. You have to put yourself first. First is you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Definitely something I've learned along the way in this last year.
Yeah.
And it's made such a difference. And I can see myself in a completely different eyes. I have way more compassion for myself. I can forgive myself so much faster. I don't hold grudges, just like you. I don't hate anyone. And I can forgive people so much easier, even if they've done some pretty crappy things. I'm just like, it's all right. You're probably hurting a lot more than I am. That's exactly why you do the way you do and say the things you do, So I can forgive.
One person told me there's a lot of people that hate you out there, especially the other side of the family of the person who hurted you. And I said, that's fine. They have to really sit down and think why they hate me. I don't have a problem with anybody. I don't hate anybody. But God is in control.
Yep.
So they have to sit down with themselves and think why they hate me. And think if they have a reason to hate me. Who do they really hate? I don't think it's me.
Yeah, 100%. When it comes to facing the unknown, how did you begin to face the unknown? Like the questions of like, who am I without this relationship? And how did you begin rebuilding life in your own terms?
I became a happier person. I discovered that I can actually do whatever I want to do. I can go wherever I want to go. I can dress the way I want to dress. I can eat whatever I want. I don't owe explanations to anyone. Nobody has control of myself. Nobody owns me but myself.
What did you discover needed to happen inside of you before you can move forward?
I had to discover myself. I had to really love myself and value myself. And understand that the most important things in life that actually matter is myself and my children.
When you feel like these emotions, I'm sure that there's times when like you get memories or glimpses of the past or whatever, comes up. What supports you in that moment to find peace again? If you hear somebody bring you, I don't know, a message, or you ran into someone, or whatever it is that takes you back to that past self or that past story, right? What do you do to come back to yourself, to your center, to find peace again?
It's actually funny because I've seen this other person face to face. And I said to myself, I got this. I am stronger than ever. And I felt it within me. That person was literally next to me, standing next to me. And I did not acknowledge this person. It's like if he wasn't there.
It's like what I hear you saying is like you're only acknowledging yourself now. You're no longer acknowledging the pain, like the darkness of your story. You're only acknowledging, you're feeding the positive
He
thoughts.
doesn't deserve my power or my energy. I will not feed that to the people that hurted me. The people that hurted me, that's what they want. They want a reaction. They want to see me in pain. They want to see me fall. They will not get what they're seeking. They will not get what they're looking for. I will not give it to them.
After your whole story and everything you've shared with us, right, which has been very powerful, and before we get ready to end this episode, what does forgiveness mean to you?
Forgiveness to me means loving myself and being free. I am free now. I stand firm with my head up high. My heart has been cleaned, is clear, and I have my gain my gains here will always be having a full heart full of love for anybody in the world. Anybody. I don't put faces or names. If I can help any human, I will. If I can love any human, I will. Because that's what God wants. God is love. We don't get it. A lot of people don't get that. They think it's about money. What is money? A paper? I can sit here and you can tell me I have a bank with millions of dollars. I have the nicest luxury car. The nicest house ever. But if I don't have love in my heart, and if I don't have my children or the love of my children, then I don't have nothing.
Have you been able to forgive him?
Yes. I forgive him. I wish him the best in life. I hope he's happy where he's at. And
Why?
Because that's who I am. I've always been that. And he knows it. Wherever he's at, he knows it. He knows who I am. He knows what he lost. He can have any woman, any kind, but he can't have me.
Yeah. So powerful, right?
Yeah. But mic drop.
Right? It's that silence that comes after a powerful conversation, right?
So as last, I just want to thank you guys for having me here. It's a wonderful podcast. I wish you guys the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is totally something great that you guys are doing. God bless your souls. Of all you three here who are making this happen, TV, Lou, Greg, you guys are feeding light for the world, and they need it. Humans are lost in alcohol and drugs and abusive relationships. Seeking for one thing. We're all seeking for one thing. Love. Mm-hmm. And love is love. Love is free.
Mm-hmm. Love is free.
We forget that God exists. That's why we act the way we act. Por eso envidiamos. Por eso odiamos. Because we don't have God in our hearts.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing your story. And as we get ready to close, I want to remind our listeners, life after domestic violence is not simple, and it's not a straight path. It's filled with anger, grief, and fear, but also with resilience, courage, and healing. To anyone listening who has survived or is surviving, you are not broken. You are a whole person, worthy of peace, love, and safety. Your journey forward belongs to you. This is not the end of the story, and it's the beginning of freedom. And we thank you as always for staying until the end. We truly hope that you took our thing or two out of this 2 powerful episodes that we recorded. And we will see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.